In the headlines, suspected terrorists kidnap retired colonel and his 2 children in Zamfara as bandits shoot one, abduct couple in residence of late Emir of Jere. Wike mocks Atiku over Obasanjo's endorsement of Peter Obi. Borno State government reintroduces intrastate night travels. And on the foreign scene, Pope Benedict's body lies in state at St. Peter's Basilica ahead of Thursday's funeral. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. And welcome once again. Suspected terrorists have reportedly kidnapped a former commandant of the Zamfara State Road Traffic Regulatory Agency, Zarota, Colonel Rabi'u Garba, retired, and 2 of his children along Gusau's Afe Road in Zamfara State. A resident of the troubled community said the victim was returning to his country home at Endoto with his 2 children on the 1st of January when the terrorists attacked. Confirming the incident, the State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Muhammad Shehu, said the incident was confirmed and has mobilized tactical operatives to rescue operation in the surrounding bush to ensure that the rescue of the 3 kidnapped victims unhurt. Meanwhile, bandits have raided the private residence of the deceased Emir of Jere, Dr. Saad Usman, abducting a man identified simply as Husseini, alongside his wife and their 4-month-old baby. The wife, however, later escaped with her child as they were being led by the bandits to raid another house in the area. The Jere Emirate Council Secretary, Mala Aliu Zubair, confirmed the kidnapping, saying 6 people were abducted in the area based on the information at his disposal. He said the bandits invaded the late Emir's private residence at around 10:12 p.m. on Sunday and abducted 1 person before proceeding to a neighbor's house, where they whisked away 5 people, escaping before the police arrived. Vigilantes who had tried to engage the bandits were overpowered because the guns the terrorists were using were more sophisticated. Meanwhile, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of Sokoto State has vowed to ensure that the attackers of his motorcade on Sunday are apprehended. Thugs had pelted the governor's motorcade with stones in the capital city, Sokoto, while he was returning from a campaign tour of Silame and Wamaku local government areas of the state. 2 vehicles in the fleet were damaged by the attackers. Governor Tambuwal told journalists at the close of a stakeholders meeting with political appointees on Monday that some of the attackers had been arrested and will soon be prosecuted. The governor stressed that a culture of violence will not be condoned in Sokoto State, as the fragile peace in the state could not be toyed with. State Commissioner for Information, Akibut Alhatu, at a separate press briefing explained that the leader of the attackers, Abdu May Adda, was one of those apprehended. The commissioner said May Adda, who has been on the watch list of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in the last 3 months, not only destroyed some vehicles in the governor's convoy, but also stole 5 motorcycles after attacking PDP supporters in the campaign ground in Wamaku. And now to politics, where the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says former President Olusegun Obasanjo's endorsement of Peter Obi to Nigerians for the 2023 presidential election indicates that the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, is a bad sell. Governor Nyesom Wike, who spoke at the flag-off of a road project in Emuoha, local government area of the state, said that a bad product will always be difficult to market, which is why the former president did not recommend Atiku, who he worked with. The Rivers State governor also took a swipe at those accusing him and Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State of frustrating the micro-zoning of the presidential ticket of the People's Democratic Party to the southeast. Wike noted that he attended all meetings convened by southern governors of the All Progressives Congress, the People's Democratic Party and other parties, where it was agreed that the presidency should come to the south. He, however, pointed out that while cross-party consultations were going on, some people in the PDP conspired to frustrate the eventual zoning of the party's presidential ticket to the south. The Rivers State governor specifically accused Atiku of buying the PDP nomination form to circumvent the recommendations of the zoning committee. And as Nigeria marks another new year and ushers in the much anticipated and critical general elections in the country, Nigerians are optimistic and hopeful that the election will be an opportunity to elect a credible leader that will reposition the country and set it on the right path. Mardia Umar reports that despite a myriad of pro-social challenges, Nigerians have high expectations.
In 2022, Nigeria faced myriad of problems in the economy, security, education, and other sectors. As the nation heads to the poll this year, the next set of leaders are expected to perform optimally to ensure Nigeria returns to its glory days. Electorates are seeking a free, fair, and credible elections in the coming weeks. And for Zipporah Nwachukwu, a young civil engineer who will be voting for the first time, said this year's election must not be business as usual.
My expectation is, first, we youth, this election is more important to us because most of us have suffered a lot. There are some that are fortunate to graduate and have work, but there are some ones that are not fortunate. So it's as if they are lazy, but they have not been given the opportunity. So all of us should come out, vote the right person. Don't collect money. Don't sell your vote. Do the right thing. Don't follow maybe what Zipporah is telling you to do. You know what you want, and you know your expectation, because all of us have prayed, I want the 2022, 2023 to be a good year for us. But it cannot be a good year if we keep doing the same thing.
On their part, for elections to be credible, the electoral umpire has to be ready. As such, you're calling on INEC to do the needful.
What I want to tell INEC is that they should make sure they fulfill their promises and make sure that the vote is count so that there won't be any issue after the election.
What I just want the INEC to do is that they should be fair in handling the election, and there should be no manipulation of results in any other way.
So I wouldn't say I have a preferred candidate. I just hope whoever wins tends to do the needful, and maybe the country should go to greater height. Well, everybody has his or her own responsibility. We, the electorate, we have our own responsibility. The INEC has her own responsibility, which is to make the whole process free, fair, and credible. The security operatives have theirs as well, which is to keep the whole place devoid of violence and a hitch-free process.
Despite the challenges, they're hopeful for a credible polls, calling on stakeholders to act professionally and impartially. Mardia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And members of the All Progressives Congress in Osun State have resolved to work together to ensure victory for candidates of the party in the forthcoming elections. Former Governor Adegboyega Oyetola charged APC members to work for the victory of the presidential candidate of the party, Bola Tinubu, and his running mate, Kashim Shettima. Oyetola appealed to all aggrieved members of the party in the state to bury the hatchet and work together so that Osun State could deliver 1 million votes for Tinubu and Shettima. It will be recalled that members of the party loyal to former Governor and Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola had declared cessation of hostilities and returned to the mainstream APC. The spokesperson of the party in the state, Kola Olabisi, confirmed that members of the party in the state were now on one page.
I think the unity of the party, APC in Osun State, should not be a subject of contention again, because everything needed to be done. You understand? So in that regard, so it's been done. Like if you can still cast your mind back during the response of the APC towards how to end the hostility in the party, then you understand, all the members of whoever has a grouse, with the party that had left or was has been doing 2 months, was asked to go back to the ward, to go and associate, to report himself, you understand, to the to the world leader.
The Nigerian Bar Association has constituted a 9-member ad hoc committee to probe the murder of female lawyer Mrs. Omobolanle Rahim and Gafaru Braimo, killed by police officers in Lagos. A statement by the National Publicity Secretary, Akorede Habib Lawal, said the association is committed to the pursuit of justice in the case so that no other Nigerian will lose his or her life in an unjust manner. NBA says since Braimo's passage, the police authorities have refused to disclose the identity of the killer, demanding immediate disclosure. Consequently, NBA President Yakubu Mikel established an open communication with police authorities over the incident. And as the new year rolls in, Borno State will be restarting night trips across the state. Governor Babagana Zulum says the resumption of nocturnal journeys will be a litmus test to show that peace has returned to Borno State. Beatrice Kurutsi sampled opinions of residents on this development.
Tashan Kano is the second major transit park in Maiduguri metropolis. It's where travelers board commercial vehicles to other parts of Borno State. Musa Banki is one of the many drivers who has conveyed passengers to Biu local government and other places for the past 8 years. He feels the news on the resumption of night trips means more freedom of movement, but advises that government must make the roads safer. It will be a good thing when the road is completely open for us to travel at night. Now that insurgency has reduced, we won't have security problems. This is good news for me, but the government should strengthen security across the roads to ensure safety. Some residents say it will be a new experience as over the years they have become accustomed to morning trips as a result of the insurgency.
Due to the situations now, the situations of these insurgencies is more limited. So maybe if they can improve the security architectures and all these escorts and all these securities, maybe they can able to improve it. Maybe people will embark on the night journey. But for now, we normally used to travel in the daytime to avoid all these tricks on the road. Most of people now, they don't engage in night traveling journey because of they're saying there is risks when government are saying they improve the storage architecture on the road and all these things. But me, I would advise people to travel in the daytime so that avoid all these problems. Honestly, me, I don't used to travel in the night because of so many things. Fear and all these things. So I know used to travel in the night.
No, if the road is free, I will be very happy to travel in the night because traveling in the night is so nice. Yes, because you will sleep, you will have fun because it's very nice traveling night. No, they will try about this insurgency situation now. If there's no insurgency, everything will move fine. But if it is with this insurgency, these kidnappers and the rest, we will not be able to travel in the night.
The state government plans to reopen 2 major roads to match its words with action.
The theater commander and all other military establishments will be invited for Borno State government to resume night travels in Borno State. Especially, we'll start in 2 major roads. Maiduguri Kano Road will be open up to 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. Then Maiduguri Bama Road will be open up to 10 a.m. And those individuals of Bama local government that don't want to sleep in the Metropolitan Council.
The Borno state government has in the past years deliberately implemented policy decisions that will induce normalcy, including the resettlement of internally displaced persons in megacities. The reintroduction of night travel is another of such policies which demonstrates the political will of the state government to grab peace in the midst of threats of insecurity.
Stay with us on Trust TV News Update. Still ahead. Essential worker shares experiences during public holidays. Details of this and more after the break. Stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. Suspected terrorists kidnap retired colonel and his 2 children in Zamfara as bandits shoot one abduct couple in residence of late Emir of Jeri. And Wike mocks Atiku over Obasanjo's endorsement of Peter Obi. And now moving on to other news. January is the first month of the year in Western countries, and it is usually considered the second month of winter and the coldest, while in Nigeria it is the coldest month in Harmattan and the transitionary period to the hottest season. Most people consider January the longest month in a year, particularly because of monetary choices and the number of bills which must be settled as the new year rolls in. In this report, Noel Sampson examines the mystery behind January.
January is named after the Roman god Janus, known as the protector of gates and doorways, that symbolizes beginnings and endings. Janus is depicted with 2 faces, one looking into the past, the other with the ability to see into the future. However, the man on the street is not concerned with myths. To him, the mystery attached to January is related to money and how very quickly it runs out in the first month.
Concept first, and then the second is the hunger to celebrate December in a special way. I know that all moments are not the same, all seasons are not the same, but when you have it that in December we must kill ourselves, January eventually must be very, very long.
Me, I be businesswoman. So salary for January, like they will not like to sell market. People not to buy our market. So because of no pay, nobody like to spend money. Or December time like this, they don't waste money, do many things.
What is the reason behind the January mystery? Is it a mystery at all or just common sense?
Based on the fact that people do not plan well, because everything boils down to planning. As it stands now, a lot of people have traveled and have done a lot of expenses. And when they come back, they are going to face school fees for their children. Some of their house rent to be due, more so utility bills.
So everything you have, you spent them all in December. And just maybe if you're a Christian, 25th and then 31st. Just that 2 days. Everything you have gathered for the whole year, you spent it. And then January salary will not come on time. The presence of money does not make the month look very long. Ask people that are rich, they don't tell you January is very long. They don't have time counting like that.
Well, I think the mystery behind it is, usually most of our people, like I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria, during festive period, especially Christmas, we travel home and we do a lot of expenses. And whenever we come back to the city, we find out that the money you're supposed to save for a January spending, you've almost spent it on maybe frivolous things.
People have attributed lack of proper planning and excessive spending during Christmas and New Year celebrations as part of the mystery behind the January phenomenon, the long month that seems to be stretched endlessly. The verdict is simple. People should be prudent in spending during festive periods, and just like any other months, where there is excessive spending, there's bound to be a repercussion. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, public holidays declared during festive periods allow people to rejoice, rest and socialize with family and friends. Essential workers, however, do not enjoy public holidays because of the nature of their jobs. In this report, Trust TV's Bella Musa speaks to an essential worker who is supposed to be celebrating New Year with his family but remained at his duty post.
Public holidays declared by government covers workers in the employ of public and private institutions. Though workers stay at home with their families to celebrate Christmas and New Year, but essential workers like Emmanuel Ode, a private guard, is exempted as the nature of his work requires him to be at his duty post even during festive season.
On Christmas Day, I'm in the office. On New Year Day, I'm in the office. On essential duty, you have nothing to object it. Since where I was assigned to be in the office that day, I have to be there to do my civic right as a good citizen of the country. That is why I told you earlier, I was there with hunger, not to write anything about. So I was here alone. Make sure I do my work. No water, but I doesn't care about it. Make sure I do what is right at the right time.
Ode said, though he answered leaving, but the economic situation of the country is biting hard on many people like him.
Advice I have to give government, this is the new year. They should try to improve to the life of people, of their people. Because last year is very tough. This year, with the prayer, all things are possible. They will try to listen to the cries of the masses. They are the people who put them for that position. They should not neglect them. Because I expecting this year shall be greater than the last year. But last year, nothing we can write about.
While hoping for better days ahead, Ode called on the government to do more in order to alleviate the sufferings of the common man. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has predicted dust haze weather conditions from Monday to Wednesday across the country. NIMET's weather outlook released on Sunday in Abuja predicted thick dust haze with horizontal visibility of less or equal to 1,000 meters over the northern region during the forecast period on Monday. According to NIMET, moderate dust haze with horizontal visibility range of between 2 to 5 kilometers is expected over the north-central region, with prospects of horizontal visibility of less than or equal to 1,000 meters over parts of Niger within the forecast period. The agency predicted thick dust haze on Tuesday with horizontal visibility of less or equal to 1,000 meters over the northern region during the forecast period. It forecasts moderate dust haze over the north-central region with prospects of reduced horizontal visibility to 1,000 meters or less over the parts of Niger, Benue, Kwara and the Federal Capital Territory. And now for a look at the foreign scene, where the lying in state of former Pope Benedict XVI, who died on Saturday at the age of 95, began on Monday in St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City ahead of his funeral later this week. A statement by the Vatican said the body of the former Pope was moved from the monastery to St. Peter's Basilica on Monday morning, where it was laid out for the faithful to bid farewell. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and President Sergio Mattarella were among those to pay their respects as Benedict lay in state. According to the Director of the Press Office of the Holy See, Matteo Bruni, Benedict's funeral will be held at 9:30 a.m. local time on Thursday in St. Peter's Square in Vatican City. The funeral will be led by Pope Francis, noting that in line with Benedict's wishes, the funeral will be simple. Benedict was known to be more conservative than his successor, Pope Francis, who has made efforts to soften the Vatican's position on abortion and homosexuality, as well as doing more to deal with the sexual abuse crisis that has engulfed the Church in recent years and clouded Benedict's legacy. And in sports, Brazilians bid a farewell this week to football giant Pelé, starting on Monday with a 24-hour public wake at the stadium of his longtime team, Santos. The oceanside home of the team is expecting a huge influx of fans looking to honor the king of football, who died aged 82 on Thursday after a long battle with cancer. Stadium doors will be open at 10 a.m. local time, and the coffin bearing the remains of the only player to have won 3 World Cups will be displayed in the center of the field. Known as Via Belmiro after the neighborhood where it's located, the black and white stadium has a capacity of 16,000 people. Entry to the stadium will be allowed until 10 a.m. on Tuesday. And after that, a procession will be held through the streets of Santos, a port city about 75 kilometers from the state capital, Sao Paulo. The parade will pass through the house of Pelé's mother, 100-year-old Celestine Arantes, who is unaware that her world-famous son had died. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.